What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. The year now is 1996, the year in which a gorilla saved a kid. Stone Cold Steve Austin started his Raising Hell debut. The Tickle Me Elmo doll was a hot Christmas items of that year. And lastly, the N64 makes its debut. Spoiler alert, that's going to be coming into play here soon. But it's still 1996, and I have a few games over here. In the original 1996, I didn't get anything that year. I would ask for things, but it was always get shot down, so I just I never bothered at all asking for any games at all. I just said, okay, we're not going to have games anymore, video games is done. So I just never bothered asking for anything at that point because I always would get a lecture as why we could never get any video games, so I just didn't do it. We're correcting that here with these games right here. We got 4 to talk about, so let's get right into them. The first one I'm talking about here is one I've always wanted to have, and luckily I was able to find me a copy, and that here is Mighty Morphin Power Rangers on the Sega Genesis. But yeah, pick that up. It's basically a fighting game. You pick a character, you choose a fighter, and you basically go in kind of like a Street Fighter style of fighting. It only goes so far. You get I think 2 bosses from the show. Then you fight the Green Ranger, and then you fight the Cyclops, I think. And that's pretty much it. Anyways, yeah, it's pretty short. I technically beat that one because the whole point of this is that if I beat the game, I earn myself a spin to the wheel. And technically I beat it. It does have an ending where it ends, but if you play it on hard or impossible difficulty or just harder, like level 8, which I'll talk about that here in a minute, where it has levels 1 through 9. But 8 is the level which is basically the hard mode or impossible mode, and which basically you get at the end, you get an extra screen that says thank you for playing, and that's literally the difference between you beating it on easy to beating it on hard. You just get one extra screen like this. And that's it. That's the difference. I'm not going to play the whole thing over again just to get that one screen. So I beat it. I went through and played it. But it was really frustrating to beat it too. Because like I said earlier, it has levels of 1 through 9 or 0 through 9. No, it's 1 through 9. It's not like it is now where it's has easy, normal, hard, and impossible. If you play it on 3 and 4, that's kind of like it's medium difficulty, I think. I don't know how it all works because when I had it on 3, it was like the bosses, the monsters that you fight were like would knock you out in an instant. It was like I was struggling to really fight the monsters on 3 and 4. Like they were just whipping my butt. Even though I got used to I got the controls down. The Yellow Ranger was actually my favorite to play because I knew her button mechanics controls a lot up until I got to the Green Ranger, which I knew his too. And the Green Ranger was the hardest one to beat. But if you're able to beat him, you can almost beat the rest of the game, except for the Cyclops. Actually, that's the end part where you face off the Cyclops, and he just mollywops you. I don't know what else to really say. He just destroys you. Like everything else, you can kind of get close to it, but that one, for me, he just destroyed me every time I played him. So what's funny, so it's okay, 3 and 4, that's the normal difficulty. Let me bump it down to maybe just 2. I can get kind of a little bit of a challenge, but not that much. I won't struggle as much, fighting them, so I can finally beat this game. When I put it on 2, they just stand there. There's just no challenge whatsoever on beating them. So yeah, it's the difficulty range is just wild. I could be sweating bullets on level 3 and I can't beat it. Then put it at 2. I could beat the game with my eyes closed. So the leveling system is just all over the place. I don't even know what to say on that one. I'm not going to play it on hard mode just to see an extra screen. It even congratulates you and thank you for playing it anyways. So adding that extra screen was kind of in my opinion, it's just pointless. Beat the game, got 1 spin, that's 1 down. The next game I am so happy to have, and that is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Hyperstone Heist. This one was a fun one. It's different from Turtles in Times, but it's kind of has the same, I guess, architecture or something like that. I don't know how to really explain that, but it has the same feel to it. But I think there's some, I think it's shorter than that one. I don't know the whole thing, but I love this one. This one was freaking awesome. I love how you could be able to change the color of the turtles to go from more of the, you can make them look more like the traditional comic book style, or you can go to the cartoon, which is funny because they actually call it anime, which is interesting. If I saw that as a kid, I wouldn't even know what they're talking about when they say anime. But yeah, you could change the color of the turtles, so that's pretty cool. The difficulty was decent and whatnot. What I like about it is that when you die, or when you get, when you have basically, they take all your lives, the end screen is the end screen to the, similar to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles poster, where all the 4 turtles are under that sewer drain thing. I'll show it here. But if I saw that as a kid, I would be like freaking out, going like, "Oh my god, it's just like the movie!" if I saw it as a kid. But yeah, the story pretty much goes is that you're basically the 4 turtles, and Shredder uses these hyperstones to steal, like, I think he stole like the Statue of Liberty, and he has the hyperstone, and it's pretty much simple. Just go in, beat up Foot Clans, and beat up the Foot Clan, and beat up Shredder and Krang and Bebop. I don't remember which one was. I think it's Rocksteady that's in here, not Bebop. I think he doesn't appear. Fun game. I'm glad to have played it. I had to use a Game Genie to beat it, unfortunately. I try to beat it normally because I think I could have done it. It's just, they just don't give you enough lives to beat the game. They give you just enough to get to the end where you're like, you're so close. But, at least for me, yeah. So yeah, had the Game Genie, had infinite lives, was able to beat it. So that's one game down, but that's half a spin. All right, the next game we got here was a game I've always wanted as a kid, and that is Mortal Kombat. Yeah, I always wanted this as a kid. I remember my brother would have this one particular sleepover with all of his friends and whatnot, and wanted to look like he was the cool kid. So yeah, these friends, they brought over a Sega Genesis, and they brought over this game here, the Mortal Kombat. I remember them playing. Heck, I wanted to play with them, but they were always, being jerks and told me to, leave or go in the other room or whatever. And they were all being kind of like, buttheads about it. They wouldn't even let me sit down and just watch them play. That's how much like they were jerks about it. I remember they would go back in our backyard and swim in the pool, and I got my chance to play it. And they were like, doing their own thing. So I went in there and I played it. I was like, I'm going to play it. My dad's like, yeah, go ahead and play it. So I go over there and I played it, and I was freaking awesome. And I was playing and everything like that. And I guess one of the kids came in and did something, and they ran out and told my brother, and it was like, hey, he's playing on this thing. And they came in and they're trying to like shove me off of it, and one of them, and I think it was my brother, one of them punched me in the head. But yeah, I remember that happening, but I thought it was so cool playing Mortal Kombat. But anyways, yeah, played this game finally, sat down and played it. It was a lot of fun. It's so crazy to think like the whole controversy behind the blood of these games, and how they had that whole like Congress hearing about it and whatnot. And you're playing it now, it's just like, really, this was what people were upset about? Like, seriously, this is like, this is nothing. Like graphically, it looks nothing compared to what you see now. So yeah, imagine having Mortal Kombat 11 being shown to those people back then. Like their heads would just explode. Play this one. I had to use a Game Genie to beat it, only because I would have liked to seen the end. With these games, you really have to know the fighting mechanics, and I'm not gonna really sit down and do that, to go through all that. So yeah, I used the Game Genie to beat it, and this one is done and beat. It was pretty fun to beat it, but glad to have this. This is very, very much 90s. I remember the 90s Mortal Kombat was like the game to play. And speaking of another game to play, my last game I got here is this one here, and that is NBA Jam. I love this game, but I remember the arcade the most because there was a smaller town down the road from us, and in this smaller town they had like this little small mom and pop pizzeria place, and in that small mom and pop pizzeria place they had this NBA Jam cabinet, and I remember going in there, and we would me and my brother, we would always play NBA Jam. Got this NBA Jam game. It was fun. You don't really technically beat it unless you go into, I guess you would call it going into the tournament, but yeah. I'm just glad to have it to my collection, added onto it. I actually wanted to have this one and all the other ones because they definitely remind me of the 90s, and so they're core games I wanted to get for my collection. Actually, I want to keep these, so yeah. Anyways, added that on there. And with that, we have 2 spins to get ourselves an extra game. So let's go ahead and get these cleared and spin us the wheel and see if we can get anything new to play. All right, with that now, we have here, I changed the wheel a little bit. I added a few more games. So we got here is The Lion King, Stargate, Sonic 3, and I added an NES game. I changed the wheel just a little bit, not much, but I changed it. And we got ourselves no game, spin again, and picking a bad game, whatever a bad game is. So we have 2 spins. Let's hope we get something good. I don't know. I'm really leery on this wheel. It seems to always mess up or land into certain spots. So let's see what we can get. All right, hey, there we go. We got The Lion King. All right. I've actually wanted to play that one. I remember that being a very much of a 90s game. I would go over to my cousin's place a lot to see them play their Lion King game on the Super Nintendo. So let's see what the Sega Genesis version is like. So I'm kind of excited to play that one. That's interesting. All right. So got a good game here. Let's spin it again and see if we can get ourselves another game. Okay, hold on. I gotta hold it. A little flimsy. Here we go. We got a no game, so we only got 1 game out of this whole thing. That is The Lion King. Let me go grab it real quick. All right, here we are. We got ourselves is The Lion King. This is one of the games I bought. I haven't had a chance to really sit down and play it, but here it is, The Lion King. So let me read the back here real quick and see what we're in for. You think you want to be king. Get real. Okay. You're starting life as Simba, the cub. To survive and grow into a powerful lion, you must protect your savage pounce, reckless roar, and master fighting with all your 4 paws. If you survive the challenge, you'll grow into a strong and ferocious adult lion. So prepare to scrap with hyenas, blast through an elephant graveyard, battle an in-your-face stampede of trampling wildebeests, and you better quit hanging out with slackers like Timon and Pumbaa unless you want to be scarfing bugs the rest of your life. I always wondered about that. Did Simba go back to eating like actual meat, or did he still eat bugs? I've always wondered about that in the movie. Maybe they talked about it in the sequels. I don't know. I can't barely read it because the Timon and Pumbaa are like right over the words. Are you sure you want to be king? Golly, man, it's like really telling you can't be king. Okay. Are you sure you want to be king? Then it's time to cut loose in the deadliest one-on-one brawl ever. Defeat your evil Uncle Scar, recapture the Pride Lands, and reclaim your rightful place in the circle of life. A radical variety of gameplay that follows the adventures of the hit movie The Lion King through 10 levels of action, puzzles, and combat. Fast, super smooth, movie-like animations hand-drawn by top Disney animators, and packed with the latest... I can't fucking read it because Pumbaa's like right on it. Packed with the latest Digicel? Oh, okay, yeah, that's what it says. Packed with the latest Digicel's technology in a 24 mega cart. Ooh. All 9 music sections from the movie, including The Circle of Life, Just Can't Wait to Be King, and Can You Feel the Love Tonight, composed by Elton John and Tim Rice. Well, and basically in 16-bit Genesis form, that's going to sound great. It just says, able to control 4 characters, young Simba, adult Simba, Timon, and Pumbaa. All right, so there it is, The Lion King on Sega Genesis. There we go. All right, so I guess I'll take some time off to go and play this game, and I'll be back to talk about The Lion King.
It starts.
All right, so this is the one game I played. Finally got a chance to play this Lion King game. I was wanting this game ever since I was a kid. Just ever since I seen my cousins play it. And I played the Genesis version. You know, every once in a while, I have to play something that reminds me that doing this adventure of playing through all my games and seeing if they're worth keeping or not, and realizing there are some games that are just really, really difficult to play. And I just have to have that reminder that this isn't going to be an easy task going through all my games to see if they're worth keeping or not. And this is one of those games. I'm going to keep this one because I am trying to beat it and I'm very nostalgic for it. It is a difficult game. If you play this game, you know what I'm talking about. I don't know if the Super Nintendo version and the Genesis version are identical in terms of its, game making, or if they're different. Because I heard like the Aladdin game are different, but so I don't know if this is the same thing that happens with this game here as well. The one place that I knew that that might be difficult was the second stage. Back in the day, I saw my cousins play this all the time, and there's one particular level that they seem to always was like stuck at, or they were always playing it when I went over to their house, and that was the I Can't Wait to Be King level, which is the one where it's like it's all colorful. I'll show it right here. And yeah, I always thought like, well, why are they always stuck there? It's like they never see the rest of the game kind of thing. I played this one. I figured I might do a little bit better at being that level. Go through the first level. The first level is like super easy. Like I don't know how, like if all the easiest levels that you can partake in, that's like the #1 easiest level I have ever played, the very first level. But then I get to the second level, and that's the part where it just kicks my butt. Like that whole thing is just so bad. It is so terrible. I mean, I'm even still playing it, trying to beat it. I'm gonna try to beat it. I tried using a Game Genie, which my Game Genie sucks because every time I use the codes in the thing, it has this weird humming sound that just annoys me and I can't play it. It just, so I'll probably, because the game is so difficult, I might have to use save states to do so. And since this doesn't really account towards my, spinning of the wheel, I'm not going to really, be in a rush to beat it because of that. But other than that, man, this game is difficult. It is really, really difficult. I cannot believe they made these games back in the day this difficult. And I know why they did it. Because they didn't like rental stores. And they didn't want kids to go out and rent the game and like in one day and beat it in a day and then take it back. Like they don't make their sales that way. They made their games difficult on purpose for that reasoning. But yeah, I have to have that reminder that these games are not going to be very easy to beat. They're not going to be easy at all. Some of these games, like the only way to really beat them is to use save states. Like I don't know how else. Like some people, okay, for me, like I've said, I've never been good at 8-bit games or 16-bit games. I got to play this game. I'm gonna keep playing it, try to beat it, and more than likely, I'm gonna have to use save states. I'm gonna try to use the Game Genie to do it. I feel like I can get there and get close to it. I mean, the game looks fun. The game mechanics is fun. I like it. I mean, if the rest of the game is like the first stage, then this is gonna be a blast to play. But other than that second stage, the Can't Wait to Be King, is just so difficult. Oh yeah, and I want to talk about the sound real quick. This is something else that I find very interesting. The sound on it was actually pretty darn good. The Sega Genesis sound chip, or its sound on a lot of the games, sounds very, I don't know what to really say. It's very muddy. I can't really explain it, but it's just very like they have that unique Genesis sound. If everyone knows what I'm talking about, if you played on the Sega Genesis, but this actually surprisingly wasn't terrible. It was actually like it sounded really good. To be honest with you, it didn't sound that bad like a normal like there was some crackling in some of the sound bites and some of the audio, but other than that, in terms of that unique Sega Genesis sound that everyone's so used to, this game barely had that. So like that's a 9 out of 10 on that one alone. But the difficulty of the gameplay is good. Yeah, it's pretty bad. But anyways, yeah, got to play that game. Finally was able to sit down and play it. I'm gonna try to beat it. Hopefully I can get this game beat, but it's not really anything to the wheel. It's just more for fun now. But that's pretty much it. But anyways, that's it for today's episode. We got one more year of the Sega Genesis. 1997 is the final year that we'll be dealing with the Sega Genesis. And so I have picked out 4 games. And like I said before, you got to remind yourself that these games are going to be difficult. And the next 4 games I have definitely proves that. But anyways, guys, that's it for today's episode. I'll see you guys all on the next one. And y'all take care.